Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Saturday Sports Countdown. We got to change that intro. I don't know when the last time Luke was on a Saturday show. He is by phone, but not in studio, but we're going to get some things worked out. Moving into next year, by the way, next year will be our 20th year of doing Sports Blitz programming.
I believe it.
Sports Blitz programming, 20 years next year. So
yeah, it's been a great run. A lot of those years we've been able to do this Saturday morning show, which is one of our favorite, especially after high school football on Friday night. Gives you an opportunity out there throughout the state to call in and let us know what you saw last night, maybe even on a Thursday night.
Right.
We had a wonderful game on Thursday night down in the Mobile area with St. Michael taking on UMS Wright. Brett had the good opportunity to go down there on Monday and interview both of those coaches. And, Brett, it's great to see a game that you spotlight like that and do a lot of work and effort to tell the story turn out to be as good a one as you saw on Thursday night.
Yeah, I hadn't had that fortune much so far this year. They've been seeing us coming, and I was worried. I told Lauren, I said, they're going to see us pull up on campus and go, man, don't let them in. Because every team we've been to mostly had gotten beat or blown out. So, but this past Thursday was not the case. St. Michael's knocked off UMS Wright, and it was UMS's home game, but it was a great football game. And, Terry Curtis coming to the end of his career. Don't know if this coming year, next year, if he'll come back or if he'll stay. He may stay 5 more years. I don't know. Like he told me, he's on a year-to-year contract. That's in his mind. So, but Randy, we're going to talk a lot about the games around the state. Last night and Thursday, the regular season is now over. It's hard to believe that we've gone through 11 weeks if you count week 0, and we'll run down scores from last night. But not a good night for our Wildcats as they end the regular season 5-5 with a loss to a really good Percy Julian team. And I have nothing but praise for that team and that organization. Coach Everett, met with him earlier in the year, and he had a vision for that team and that program, and they made the playoffs. And let me tell you something, they're well coached. You and I bragged on them all night last night. Wes bragged on them. I had several people stop me in the parking lot and talk about how well coached and organized they were, and some of the strategy and the way they called the timeouts in that game to kind of make sure they had the right alignment after seeing how we lined up, man. Tip of the hat. They did what they needed to do. They came in and utilized their weapons. They're very good on defense. Got a lot of speed, but I thought they kept us off balance last night offensively, and with a great running back and a quarterback that looked like he was in control all night.
Well, they sensed that it was going to be a little bit of a struggle for us throwing the football last night due to an inability to hold any of their defensive line pressure off of our quarterback.
Right.
So our passing numbers, I don't know the exact number, but it wasn't where we've been. And it wasn't for lack of effort by Elijah. A lot of times he was running for his life trying to make plays out there. We were able to run the football last night, and our player of the game was T.J. Wilson, 31 carries for 124 yards and a touchdown. Brett, he played really well, but we had 13 points there at half. And I thought the defensive change that they made, not providing blitz pressure to the quarterback, but blitz pressure up the middle to go to the running back. So they sent number 1 on a middle linebacker blitz, and he was going directly for 11 when he was coming through the line of scrimmage. And 3 or 4 times there in the second half, they got tackles behind the line for us, and some of them were big losses, like 4 or 5 yard losses that put us behind the chains. So, yes, again, tip your hat to Percy Julian. Sometimes you lose a football game and you go, we really didn't play bad. I thought our kids' effort was outstanding. is 19-13. We picked the football off late in the fourth quarter. Our quarterback, playing back at safety, makes a beautiful play. It was our play of the game last night. Elijah Johnson gets the interception, gives it to us with a short field, take it down to around the 5-yard line, and just couldn't cash it in on 4 downs inside the 5. We were inside the 10-yard line 4 times last night. We only were able to cash 1 of those in, and Colin knocked through 2 field goals. He was really good last night also. So, I mean, it's not one that you leave going, we just lost to a lesser-than team.
Oh, no.
I didn't feel that way at all.
No, I was going to brag that, Colin got us off to a good start, able to drive down, and most of the time we're able to when we drive down that deep in opponent's territory, we're normally getting in the end zone with TJ or Sedarian or Elijah. We've got enough weapons to keep teams off balance. But, man, you talk about tightening down. What the difference was last night is we were not able to get the corner. We were not able to utilize the width of the field because Percy Julian eliminated that. So what we had to do had to come between the tackles. And when you get down there inside the 5 and you bunch everybody up, it gets hard. And they got a Division I defensive end that played well last night. It's going to go to Mississippi State, Russ's alma mater in there. So Russ, y'all getting a good player from Percy Julian. Again, kind of reminded me, and a lot of people talked about it, of Malik Blockton last year. Now, he didn't make as many plays as Malik made from Pike Road, but overall they were good up front, and their linebackers read their assignments well.
Well, you want him off the bus first. He's beautiful. What is he, 6'4"? 260.
Yep.
Got a good frame that looks like some of those defensive linemen. I know Coach Tuberville's in town for Auburn today. They're recognizing the 2004 undefeated team. He was at our good friend Kevin Tudhope's place at Byron's yesterday being interviewed, and I saw that spot last night. So, again, Coach Tub could take a guy that looked like him, put another 20 or 30 pounds.
Johnson.
Oh, man, he had a number of them.
Jay Ratliff.
And put 20 or 30 pounds on him and turn him into kind of a defensive tackle / defensive end with a physical presence on the outside, and that's what that kid looked like. Everyone out there, I know 90% of you go, who in the world is Percy Julian? This is Robert E. Lee.
Yeah, we don't have a good history against them at all.
No, that is the 18th meeting. Yep. They've won 15 of them. To our 3.
Yeah.
A lot of those coming early on. My dad, that generation took their whoopings by Robert E. Lee for sure whenever we played them. But everybody did. They've won 10 state championships in school history. Their last coming back to our good friend Spence McCracken was the coach. Sure. With Fred Beasley as the running back in the early 90s, 91, 92. But they won a bunch of them in the 50s and 60s, Terry Beasley being one of their best players during that stretch. So Percy Julian's got a good product they put out on the field still.
Yeah, and Coach Everett continuing that on. I mean, again, they've fallen off from time to time, but not too long ago they were in 7A. And made a deep run. I remember, I don't remember what year it was, but it hadn't
Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, it hadn't been too long ago. They were in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Or in the 3rd round. They only played, but they made it to the semifinals in 7A, and I think Phoenix City beat them and knocked them out. So just a good football program overall, a lot of history. But last night, like you said, I think you summed it up about as well as you can. Not a bad effort by our team. Thought we played pretty well, amassed a lot of yards. I don't know how many total yards of offense we ended up with last night, but we moved the ball between the 20s, got down inside the red zone and found the tough going. And, they made plays when they needed to make them. They struggled in special teams, but they jumped out to a 13-3 lead, and then we came back and tied it up 13-13, and then they made one score. They had one touchdown in the second half, and they shut us out. It's not very often that you see us get shut out in a half of football, but, credit them. So now we flip the page like everybody else does. We are fortunate enough that we are the 3 seed, so we get to travel in the playoffs, and we're going to play Spanish Fort. Everybody kind of thought it was going to be St. Paul's. We thought we were going to be making our first trip to St. Paul's, and will not happen. We'll be making the old gauntlet trip to the hill, they call it, in Spanish Fort, which has not been good to Benjamin Russell. But you know what? Maybe they regroup, and get ready to play a good football team in Spanish Fort. We're very familiar with each other. They've had our number, but we've been in some really close games, and maybe this will be our time. We've got the team to do it. But Spanish Fort, St. Paul's, that region down there, extremely tough.
Well, they'll be prepared. You know, when you go through that gauntlet, once you get to the playoff run, some of these rounds for them is nowhere near the competition they see week in and week out. So we've got to be prepared for that. We have gone down there and played really well at times against some state championship contending teams, and one that won it there one of the last times that we win. And it was a very tough loss, probably the toughest of your career, Brett, and I would definitely say the toughest of mine. But tip your hat to a wonderful program that's not that old in Spanish Fort, just year in and year out putting a good quality product out there on the field. They carry themselves the right way for football, man. They got a lot of swag. I mean, if you don't go down there thinking you can win, they'll run you out of the gym. That's and I've always been impressed with that. Some people don't like that.
Yeah.
I very much appreciate going to a stadium where you just sense the environment around you. It's like, oh gosh, there's something about this place that I don't like. I don't like the way that the music sounds. I don't like the way the PA. When you start complaining about everything with the facility, it's because they've got a pretty good atmosphere that makes it tough for road teams to come in there and win.
Not many people go to their place and win ever. Down there, it doesn't matter. Nobody goes up there and really comes away with the victory. But a couple of guys I want to highlight on the defensive side of the ball. First of all, Noah Long playing with – some definitely tough injuries with his shoulder, and won't go into detail about that. But man, the grit of that kid and what he gives you, and that's what we have a lot with our defense. Guys playing banged up. You got Lorenzo Crawford back out there, and he's playing outstanding. He came back from a shoulder injury, and he's still nursing some soreness there. And Caleb Spivey took a vicious lick last week. He and BJ, we talked about that, and he missed a few days of practice this week, but came back and was a force. So we got guys, man, that are tough. That they're not pansies, man. If it's where they can go out there and play football, and they can wrap it up, and they can play hurt. You hear about that. You're either hurt or injured. Well, these guys, they're injured, and they're playing. They're wrapping stuff up, and they're going out there and giving it 110%.
BJ looked good on the sideline. He was able to show up. BJ Pulliam, who was injured. A lot of people around the state, especially over in the Chelsea community, concerned about him. Looked great, able to be out there, and not sure when he'll be back or if he'll be back this year. But, we were all very nervous for he and his family, and looked wonderful out there. So that was great news. But I wanted to go back to Noah real quick. I talked about it last week. There's certain things about a program that those of us that played and grew up around this program know. Whenever we leave the school, we talk to people that we played, we talk to other communities.
Right.
And there's one thing about Elliott City, guys, and that football program at Benjamin Russell. People don't like playing us. It's because we are hard-nosed Milltown kids that are tough-minded, and we're raised that way. And it was always expected. It was always talked about. Did we win state championships every year? No, we didn't. But when you played us, you didn't like it. And we made it tough on you, and we raised
a lot of football.
We raised kids up to be tough individuals and hopefully go on and have some success in life. And I'm getting somewhere with this. Noah's that type of kid. Noah just loves to compete, and he loves playing physical. And I don't know what else you can ask for. I mean, if the good Lord points down at you and says, Malcolm Simmons, you get it. There's this. I mean, then you count your blessings.
Right.
But not all of us, including me, had the good fortune of being. But what you can do is work really hard and enjoy it, and learn how to play physical, and learn how to fight through some things that most individuals will find a reason out of. And Noah's one like that. So, if
you told me we'd have a Noah Long every single year at linebacker at Benjamin Russell, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
And I'll tell you this, we always have.
We do.
And I don't mean that I'm wonderful for Noah, but that's the culture that's built here.
That's right.
If you weren't that type of, you didn't play that position.
You ain't going to play.
And so I think we're there. I do. But I hope we keep it that way, and I hope the expectation level is that that's the way that you play. And Of course, I'd love to win championships, but I like that a lot more than winning championships.
That's been the way it's been our entire life. That's all we've known is that mentality here. And like you said, it's a culture that's established. I'll have one comment before we go to our first break. Tony said, and I just brought this up to you, he said, interesting how the 4 teams in Region 2 do in the playoffs. Wetumpka is on a 6-game winning streak. I just told you they beat Demopolis last night. They're playing great football right now. And Coach Woods has been a struggle offensively for Wetumpka the first half of the year, but they've started to figure things out. That's one of the neat things about high school football, Randy. You watch some of these teams that are, like Wetumpka. They got the same kind of mentality down there, and they hardly ever have bad seasons. And when you see them struggling, are they going to fold, or are they going to get better, or are they going to work? This team obviously has been in it to win it, and they have gotten better and improved, and you can see it in the way they're playing.
Well, an old player that went off and played college ball that ends up back there, kind of like Coach McKelvey at Dable. They want it. And it's not that they want it more, but they probably do want it more than just about anybody. And so you feel good for Bear Woods that he's got that thing playing the way that he played, which is just physical, hard-nosed football. And you go play Wetumpka right now, it's not going to be a fun night.
No. We're going to take our first break. We come back, scores from around the state, and we'll look at the playoff brackets as they have been set now across the state, and playoff time is upon us. All right, up against the break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep this in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We're your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
Red Flag Pest Control is Central Alabama's best in pest control, with hometown service in Lake Martin and now the greater Montgomery area. When you see pests, throw down the red flag. Termites, bed bugs, carpenter bees, mosquitoes, or general pests. Red Flag gets the job done at the right price for your home or business. At Lake Martin, call 888-943-0353 or in Montgomery, 334-265-1831. Red Flag, the best in pest control in Central Alabama.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air, two of our longest-running partners here on our programming. Can't thank them enough. Thanks to Kevin Keel with Sunshine Heating and Air. Underwent a surgery about a month and a half ago, and glad that he's doing well. Good to hear from him. I've talked to him a couple of times since then, but one thing that has not stopped is his business. They've been continuing on, and if you need heating and air work, you need a new unit, call on Sunshine Heating and Air here in the Lake Martin area. They'll get it done for you. 256-825-4849. It is playoff time, and I won't go through. If they win, this is where they're going to go. I'm just going to run down the matchups, Randy, and talk about some of them.
I want to finish up on last night real quick, and then we'll run down some scores. But we had a lot of great things going on in Elliott City last night. First, let's talk about our good friend Pete Story. One of the very best white hats that ever wore it here in the state of Alabama. His last football game officiating last night. Luckily for us here at Benjamin Russell, it was there for him to close things out. 36 years, Brett. I can't tell you how many broadcasts I've done with you over the last 20 years where you go, I think that's Pete Story down there on the field calling. And as soon as you say that, I'm like, well, this one's going to be well officiated tonight, you know.
And it was last night.
Oh,
you notice how in control those, I thought every flag was warranted. I thought every call was made. I mean, you can tell, again, we talk about leadership on our program and all the time. Guys in control, got good officials out there he was working with, but I mean, every call was immediate. I mean, it's not like, hey, I threw a flag and they got together and tried to decide if they saw it. No, it was spot on. It was an outstandingly officiated game.
Well, I did want to take the time, though, right now because it's so important and so difficult to find officials out there. But I talked to Pete a good bit before the game, and, you know, I think that he would like for me to say this. What a profession it is, though. You know, you and I broadcast football games on Friday nights. We don't get rich by any stretch of the imagination. If we break even on Friday night ball games, it may be at best. But we do it because we love it. And high school sports meant so much to us, and we've enjoyed it so much in our life that we want to give these kids an opportunity. If you love sports, and I'm speaking for Pete here, who's retired after 36 years, go into officiating. You know, stay involved. Give back to the sports that meant so much to you. And try to be as good as he was for 36 years. There's you something you can strive for. Try to leave with as many people like me and you talking as good about him as we are today.
Right.
Because that's when you know you've done something right in this profession. So I definitely wanted to jump in there and say that. We had an old coach for us that was here for over 40 years, and Gary Powell, that was at the ball game last night. Luckily, Brett, he was positioned right below us where we were calling the ball game. And it was one ex-player after another coming through to talk to him last night. What a feel-good thing that was, just to watch. You know, coaches touch probably more lives than anyone. Maybe you pastor, maybe other things. It could be your band director. It could be your FFA leader. There are a lot of different things, but whoever you're led by at that age is so important in your life. And Gary Powell for us here in Elliott City was one of the very best. I had the great fortune of him being my position coach. So when you talk about blocking at wide receiver and you hear T.O. point to Gary Powell and say, you want to know why I blocked so well in college and why I was always considered the top wide receiver in the NFL when it came to blocking? It's all by him, and he's not lying. Like, if you didn't block and do things the right way for Coach Powell, you didn't play. It's that simple. And it was doing the small things. So, Brett, that was a feel-good. I mean, my heart was overflowing to see him out there. And 25 years for you last night. Great recognition for Brett, being the play-by-play here at Benjamin Russell for 25 years. They did a great job. Scott Hardy kind of led all of that along with Chad Calhoun. And it was a good recognition there at halftime. But, Brett, tough loss for us. But you've seen some great ones over the year, haven't you? I was going to tee you up. What's some of your favorite memories over these 25 years of calling high school?
I've got a bunch of them. And first of all, thanks to y'all. I mean, it's not about me. I mean, you just summed it up. I just show up and do what I love to do. I do. I mean, I got into broadcasting because I grew up in the backyard listening to Jim Fife. That's really where it started. And, I didn't know at 9 years old, 8 years old, I wanted to go be in the radio booth. But that's how I listened to football, because games weren't on TV.
Amen.
And so I'd have my Auburn jersey on in the backyard, and I'd be out there running around and listening to the game on the radio. And that's how I kind of established my love for broadcasting. And I'm fortunate to work with you and Wes and Scott, and I am appreciative of what you guys did. I had no idea what was going on last night at all. Y'all did a great job on keeping that very quiet, and that's hard to do with me. I usually can kind of sense when something's coming. I had no idea. When Scott came up there and he had a kind of a blank stare on his face, I just figured something else was wrong again. I said, he said, I need you to come down to the field, because I never go down the field at halftime. And I said, man, what's happened? And he goes, just come down here. I can't talk to you about it up here. I'm like, well, it's a disaster. I'm like, I've got to go down here and deal with some problem in the middle of this game. And but it turned out great. I mean, that doesn't happen very often that it does that way. But I am very appreciative of what all y'all did last night. And I guess 25 years just means I'm old. I mean, they've allowed me to stay around and do it. But some memories, it's hard. I know it's all the way back to the 01 season, man. But, I mean, just what a special team that was. And I got so close to those guys because, I wasn't very far removed from college. So I was up on the hill, and I was just married, and I mean, we're just, newlyweds, no kids. So Kim's like, go on up there. I don't care. So I was at about every practice, and I can about name the starting 11 on both sides of the football for that team. Now there's great play, but Tyrone Martin always stand out. Clay Harrelson always stand out as two of my favorite players of all time, just for what they were able to do. Now, of course, Eric Brock, Marquise Gunn, and the whole bunch of Jeremy Toller. I can just keep going down the list of those guys. That team's really, really special to me. And, of course, they won a state title. But they came back the next year, and a lot of those guys were back in the 02 team, and they fell a little bit short in the playoffs, but still just special moments. And I can go through probably a list of top 10s. Randy, you and I have had some great calls together. The Tyree Gray teams were outstanding. Bryant Horn, what a special guy he was with Danny Horn. I enjoyed spending 10 years with Coach Horn here and being around a guy like him that's a legend. So been blessed to be around so many great football players and so many great coaches that have come through this program.
Well, you had a heck of a week. You started it off with Terry Curtis down in Mobile, right. Phillip Rivers, covering them for the AHSAA radio network, our on-the-road show we hope you find on WOTM. And then you had Danny Horn, who's the all-time winningest coach, come in on Tuesday, I think.
That's exactly right.
And meet with you that morning and have a great interview there. So what a week you've had. You were able to talk to the two winningest coaches in state history. If you could have just gone on up to Fife and got Paul Benefield, you could have had a clean sweep of some of the best coaches to ever coach them, not only here in this state, but all over the country.
Well, you and I talk multiple times a day because of our businesses and all, but let me just say that about this, and we'll go to break. I am fortunate enough, you're fortunate enough, sometimes you got to stop and smell the roses. And I have to pinch myself sometimes, and I'll look at Lauren on the road, and I go, we're working today. I said, not many people get a chance to do what we do, and she didn't obviously have as love for football as we do, but, I have to talk to myself about it and go, hey, you're getting to go out and see these guys and meet these people and see these schools, and you're getting to do what you love to do. So I am very thankful. And I know sometimes we get caught up in the rat race of business every week, and we don't get a chance to stop and appreciate it, but it has been a good week. I will say that. I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to be able to go out and do what we do, and our passion continues for high school sports. And you know what? The AHSAA network, Randy, we formed together years ago. It's still going strong. We extended our contract through 2035 this past year. And we work with two of the best in the state, with Steve Savarese and Alvin Briggs, and we can't thank them enough for their mentorship and their leadership and what we have. And then, we're looking forward to continuing that on. All right, so we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll run scores down and playoff first round matchups around the state when we come back. Stay tuned. More to come.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and and home operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Why don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We're your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
Red Flag Pest Control is Central Alabama's best in pest control with hometown service in Lake Martin and now the greater Montgomery area. When you see pests, throw down the red flag. Termites, bed bugs, carpenter bees, mosquitoes, or general pests. Red Flag gets the job done at the right price for your home or business. At Lake Martin, call 888-943-0353 or in Montgomery, 334-265-1831. Red Flag, the best in pest control in Central Alabama.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Well, there's a free pub there for Sunshine, a little extra there for you. As we come back, welcome back everyone to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A little bit quick segment here, Randy, so we'll go to some scores from last night. And, again, there were some big games for region teams, just a few, because there were some 19 regions out there that still needed to be settled, and one big one that had impact on who we would play. But we'll start in 7A, and that game Thursday night was a good one. Baker over Viger, 10-9. Viger is a great 5A football team. Baker is a great 7A team. Baker comes from behind. They were down 6-3 in that game at half, and they came back and won, got one score and beat them 10-9. Two good football teams, man.
Well, we've had the good fortune of seeing Viger over the years. One of the first state championship games that we called was Joustin Fowler and that crew, and he scored in the 50s that night over Russellville.
He was at Viger for 22 years.
He was,
right?
But, you know, when they get it going and they have, you know, a good leader and a good coach over there, they're always in the thick of things, and you can sense it right now. They do. They got it going, so they'll be a tough out in 5A. You know, I think back to that Central Clay first state championship with Danny Horn back in his first year.
Came down to the end.
That was one of the best football games I've ever seen. And Viger had a great team that night and could have won it, and Central Clay ends up pulling it off. But I wouldn't be surprised to see both of them or some of them in the thick of things again this year.
Right. Choctahatchee, Florida goes to Enterprise and gets a win 17-14. And Enterprise, good football team. They squeak in the playoffs over Carver Montgomery, and they had, only because of the tiebreaker. Carver Montgomery, great football team. They're going to be sitting home this year, and that's just the way it is. Some other scores there in 7A. Prattville ended with a win. It got off to a bad start for them. They came back and beat Jag 19-6, and here's a good score. Vestavia 28, Clay Chalkville 14, and when I say good, not meaning that I was pulling for anybody. Vestavia, though, really started off the season rough, and Clay Chalkville, defending 6A champs, lost their second football game of the year. Vestavia always hits their stride this time of year, it seems like.
Clay Chalkville, if you watch anything, they're very, very talented and easily could win 6A, but they're back to the pack maybe a little, and we'll see about Saraland. Saraland's had some closer football games than we've seen in the past, so if you told me both of them were playing for the state championship again, I wouldn't be surprised. Right. But I do feel like it's a little closer than it's been in years past.
All right, we'll get some 6A scores in, then we'll get to our break there, Russ. We'll start with Gulf Shores shutting out Murphy 46-0. Obviously, we talked about Percy Julian knocking us off 19-13 last night. Homewood goes to James Clemens and gets a 24-10 win.
That's a big win. Power Rankings has Homewood currently in 6A as the number 5 team in the state. You and I know them very well. When they're good, and they must be this year.
Hueytown opens up with Percy Julian in the first round of the playoffs. They knocked off Pinson Valley 57-42. So we'll see how that game kind of goes. But Percy Julian got a good defense, so it's going to be tough. They won't be scoring 57. Oxford knocks off Florence 34-10. Our good friend Marte Wyckoff saw that picture last night with his running back that went over 1,000 yards. So congratulations to them. They've had a great season. Pike Road knocks off Charles Henderson 50-35. Charles Henderson got better as the year went along. Now they had to forfeit. Now they've been hit by the AHSAA with some violations, but this has been a week of violations across the state. There have been several teams hit, and the word is there's maybe some more coming down the line. We'll just have to wait and see. Russell County knocks off Beauregard last night 35-23. Spain Park over Gardendale 35-12. Spanish Fort over St. Paul's 27-13, and that's who the Wildcats will be playing.
And we'll close out 6A, maybe hit a few more back when you come. But good luck 6A with Spain Park.
Absolutely.
I saw that with my own 2 eyes. Their quarterback's really good, a junior commitment to Clemson. Barber's as good a wide receiver as I've seen, and I'm not even talking about them 2. That is the best offensive line I've seen in a long time in 6A.
Yeah.
Now, 7A gets those, but I don't even look at the 7A classification the same as I look at any of the others. That is an offensive line for a small college team there at Spain Park. Very impressive, and they got a couple of really good running backs back there too.
Finish out 6A right here. Stanhope ends their season with a 35-32 win over Calera. Wetumpka, as we said, a 6-game winning streak going 22-9 over a very good Demopolis team. Demopolis won their region, so that's a big win for Wetumpka, and that'll wrap up the 6A scores. We'll take a break. We come back, we'll run down 5A through 1A. Stay tuned, more to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Dadeville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Let's get into 5A football scores from last night, and we'll keep running these things down. Boaz over Aniana, 45-6. It was Carver Birmingham over Cordova, 42-0. Corner, very good football team, knocks off Springville, 38-14. Elmore County finishes a great regular season. I think they finished 7-3.
No, 8-2.
8-2. Excuse me, 8-2. You're exactly right. 36-10 over Chilton County. Hey, you can say what you want to. I don't know if there's a better coach right now up and down classifications than Kyle Caldwell. I mean, no cut against Elmore County, but he inherited a team that went 0-10, and ever since he stepped foot on campus, Randy, he's been winning. And this is 2 years in a row, actually 3 years in a row. He's won 7 or more games in the regular season, and they'll go into the playoffs now. Kudos to that guy. I'm telling you, man.
Well, I think that there's a few in our local area that are just unbelievable coaches that are young, and once they get their opportunities. But the only reason that Elmore County loses during the regular season is, unfortunately for them, they have to play Central Clay.
Right.
In the same region. You know, if you pick Elmore County up and you go drop them in a different region, they're probably winning 9 or 10 football games every year. But that's how good Central Clay is right now in Class 5A in that region. But
that was actually one of, outside of the Benjamin Russell game, one of the closer games for Central Clay this year was the Elmore County.
Yeah, I think they won by
26-7,
something like that. Yep.
I mean,
it's about a 3-touchdown score, but it wasn't Central Clay running that score up.
Oh, no.
Which is what they'll do to you right now, man. If you don't match them, I'm telling you, that's as good a skill group for Central Clay as I've ever seen for them, and that's saying an awful lot.
Yeah, it is. Greenville shuts out Park Crossing 31-0. I believe that will be now Central Clay's first-round matchup will be Greenville because of the forfeits and the moving around. It was going to be Eufaula, but if Charles Henderson is out now, it moves people up, and I think Greenville now will make the trip up to Central Clay. There is the 4th seed. Scottsboro knocked off Mars Hill Bible by a point, 22-21. Now, I know that's up and down classifications, but Mars Hill Bible, a very good football team. Scottsboro wins by 1 point, and Valley knocks off Dadeville 23-3, but the Dadeville Tigers make the playoffs. So they only had – did they end up with 3 wins this year? They go 3-7?
I think they may have got to 4.
Dadeville?
I think, but I may be wrong.
Okay, we'll check it. We'll check it and see. But anyway, nevertheless, it didn't start good, and they started playing better. And Jay Burns took over at quarterback the last few weeks. And, man, look, again, and I know if Chad's watching and anybody's watching, we all know this, and he knows his team better than anybody. But most of the time in high school football, Randy, you put your best player at that quarterback position, and you just let him go make plays. And that's what Jay Burns is for Dable, just a phenomenal athlete.
Well, you'd like to have a system that you build in, but you got to have the exact same Bo and Joe come through the program every year. So in high school football and small schools, you got to be versatile, got to be able to change things up, run different systems based off of the skill set that you've got. You know, one of the best football teams we've ever had around here, and I think he might be the best football player my two eyes have ever seen. Wasn't the best throwing quarterback by no stretch of the imagination. May have been one of the worst. I'm not knocking him. I just said he's the best football player I've seen, so don't knock me. But Tyree Gray, but you changed the whole offense around because you didn't need to. You know, the 70-yard play was him busting it. You didn't need him throwing it 60 yards down the field. But my point is there are some schools out there, maybe in the Birmingham market or some big school areas where you can go find a kid to deliver the football every year. And then there's others in small towns like ours where you're exactly like you said. You better find your best athlete, and he better touch the football more than everybody else and give yourself a chance to win. And Dave will figure that out quick.
They did, and they'll make the playoffs in Coach McKelvey's first season down there. All right, 4A, Etowah over Lincoln, 57-32, a high-scoring matchup there. North Jackson over DAR, 41-21. Randolph County loses to Oaks Bluff, 44-12.
That's a surprise.
That's a very, very big surprise. Oaks Bluff's obviously a really good football team. We know about Randolph County and what they've been able to do this year. A couple more scores here in 4A. Let's see. Randolph knocks off New Hope 48-7, and St. Michael Catholic, as we talked about earlier, knocked off UMS Wright 35-28 on Thursday. It's a good football game. First time those two programs have ever met.
Takeaways from your conversations with both of those coaches this week?
You know, two opposite ends of the spectrum. I mean, you got a legend and Terry Curtis, been doing it forever, second all-time in wins next to Danny Horn here in the state. Just 8 state championships down at UMS Wright. He is looked at as a legend. Then you go over and look at Phillip Rivers, a 17-year veteran for the San Diego Chargers, had 60,000 passing yards, owns every NFL record for the Chargers franchise in everything. And then he's able to coach his son now at St. Michael's, been there. This is his 4th season. Just an NFL player that loves to coach football. His dad coached football. They were up at Athens. I mean, this is just a football family, so this is what he's doing now. And very approachable guy. For a guy that's worth as much money as Phillip Rivers and has that much acclaim as an NFL veteran and potential Hall of Famer. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler. Just as down-to-earth as us. You know, very approachable. Very appreciative that we came and did the interview with him, and he's got a great football team down there. And that's a brand new program. School's really nice. He's got a great quarterback in his son, and Gunnar Rivers has thrown 27 touchdowns to 3 interceptions this year. He looks like Phillip Rivers. He wears 17. He's got the same build out there, but two great programs. That's the start of a rivalry. It's right across the bay. You know, I was at UMS Wright, and I just take the bridge right over the bay, and I'm over in Fairhope, Alabama to St. Michael's. That's going to be a fun rivalry moving forward. So 2 really good football programs there and 2 good football coaches on opposite ends of the spectrum. The last score out of 4A, Tallahassee knocks off Hopeville 21-14, and congratulations to Tallahassee. Went from 1 win last year to 7 or 8 this year. Just a phenomenal turnaround.
L.A. O'Neal did it at Booker T. Washington, now doing it at Tallahassee. They'll be a tough out in 4A. They dropped from 5 down to 4. We know the talent level over there. We know how passionate about all their sports they are, and so that's going to be a tough out for anybody once these playoffs start.
And let me say this real quick. I saw John Mass this past Saturday, a good friend of ours, the wrestling coach. And he wouldn't like me to say this, but he thinks it's the best wrestling team he's ever had at Tallahassee. He said, now Weaver's going to be tough. Weaver's really good.
The problem with his drop down is The 5A is really good too in wrestling, but when you drop to 4, and I covered Weaver, I make a lot of the posts for the AHSAA, so I know more than I should on Weaver's very young too. Oh, yeah. Last year they won a state championship with a whole bunch of 8th and 9th graders.
Wow.
Throwing out there. So there's certain parts of the state that do certain sports better than everybody else, and Weaver's always been one of those in wrestling.
And I think they meet during the regular season, so they'll get a good feel for each other before they get into postseason. But those two teams will be two to watch as wrestling season will get going here pretty soon. All right, up against another break. Stay tuned. We'll end up scores after this.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, is looking for the next hometown hero. Hometown heroes could be first responders, public service workers, community leaders, pastors, community volunteers, or anyone who is making a difference in your hometown. Submit your nominations now online at myhscu.com. And if your nominee is selected, they will get a $100 Visa cash card and a certificate of appreciation from Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekend. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
All right, let's get to some comments real quick, and then we'll finish up the scores here throughout the state. Glenn said Horseshoe Bend is hot going in the playoffs. You and I just talked about that. We ain't gotten down to 2A yet. They had a big win over Woodland last night and finished the season 6-4. They were an overtime loss away from being, 1 point, 28-27 there to having a 7-3 record on the season. So Horseshoe Bend is, and if I check it, let me see. I'm not sure. Are they the number 2 seed?
No, I think they're the 3.
Lochapoka's 2. Reeltown is 1. So Horseshoe Bend will have to travel to Providence Christian in the first round. So it's a 2-3 matchup there for Horseshoe Bend. So we'll actually see how that plays out. But congratulations to Jeremy and that staff and that program on a good season for Horseshoe Bend at 6-4.
Well, they got one of the best football players in 2A, and they got a lot of pieces around him. But when you got Braxton Wilson and you got somebody, I don't know how many yards of all-purpose yards that kid has. What would you guess? Well over 2,000.
Give it to him a lot.
I'm sure. So when you got somebody like that in a lower classification, we've seen over the years, buddy, you can put points up and you can compete, and they've done that. And so tip your hat to Horseshoe Bend for a great season.
I'm just going to highlight a few scores moving down through here. In 3A, is BB Comer over Thorsby 22-15, and scrolling on down through here, Piedmont over Glencoe 48-10. T.R. Miller 49-12 over W.S. Neal. That used to be a rival. I don't know how much of a rival it is anymore. It's not right there. And Westbrook Christian knocks off Walter Welborn 47-24. In Class 2A, as we just mentioned, Horseshoe Bend over Woodland 48-28. That's a big win for them. Reeltown over Lee Scott last night 26-9. That's again, Reeltown finishing with that one loss to T.R. Miller on the season. Good luck whoever matches up with Reeltown in the playoffs. They were runner-up last year. There is no Fife anymore in 2A. They're in 3A.
Coosa Christian.
Coosa Christian's out of the mix now.
Yeah, I think that'll help big time.
Pat's starting to – Pisgah's still there, and Pisgah will be a tough out, but I don't think Reeltown would have to face him until the championship game. So we'll see how that plays out. 1A football, Brantley over Ayrton 45-27. Fayetteville locally gets a win over Brilliant 30-18. Spring Garden over Ranburn 40-7. Sweetwater shuts out Tanner 41-0. Winterburg over Childersburg 46-14. That wraps up our scores in the final regular season week of the season. We'll quickly run down some matchups here in the first round of the playoffs. Gonna be a fun playoff. I think there's as much parity in all these classifications as there ever has been, especially with the reclassification and some teams moving up and down. Start with 7A. They only start out with they basically start off in the second round based on all the other classifications, only have 3 rounds. Bob Jones will go to Auburn. Daphne will go to Thompson. Enterprise will go to Austin. Hewitt-Trussville will travel to Baker. Vestavia Hills gets in, and they'll go to Mary Montgomery, who's a very good football team, won that region. Phoenix City will go to James Clemens. Fairhope will travel to Hoover, and Florence will go to Opelika. So that's your first-round matchups there in 7A. In 6A, I'll just highlight a few. St. Paul's will be at Helena. Bessemer City will be at Pike Road. Percy Julian will travel to Hueytown, and our Wildcats will travel to Spanish Fort. Still in our region, Chelsea will travel to Saraland. It's a tough road trip for them. As we talked about, Wetumpka now 7-3. They'll travel to Macador. They're hot. They're playing great football. McGill-Tulane will travel to Spain Park. Spain Park, as you mentioned, Randy, finishes 10-0, as good as anybody in the state. Pell City makes it in. They'll go to Fort Payne. Coleman will go to Parker. Mountain Brook will travel to Southside Gadsden. And Gadsden City will take a trip to Clay Chalkville. That's a few matchups in 6A. and 5A, Hopeville will go to Montgomery Catholic. I'm sorry. Not a very good draw there for you. You draw them. Eufaula will be at Beauregard now. Elmore County will travel to Andalusia. UMS Wright will make that trip to Demopolis. Demopolis wins that region at 7-3. Greenville will take the trip now to Central Clay County. Central Clay County, for the second straight year, finishes 10-0 in the regular season. Center Point will go to Boaz. Lawrence County goes to that corner team that's 9-1, and Guntersville will go to Leeds. And that's 2 really good football teams. Guntersville 9-1, going to an 8-2 Leeds team. Man, that's odd. You don't see that very often.
Well, sometimes you see those matchups, and the only reason is you've got 2 really good regions matched up with one another. So that's what you'll see there. And, that corner team, the only loss they had was up classification to Briarwood, if you remember.
That's exactly right.
So corner's really good. He got our Birmingham Area Player of the Week. Their quarterback did this week.
Right.
As Pete Story went over there and presented them from Majestic Cavern. So a lot of great storylines heading into the playoffs like there are every year.
quickly 4A football, and then we'll get out to the top of the hour break. Handley will make that trip to St. Michael. St. Michael made the trip to Handley last year and got beat 60-something to 38. Be a tough trip for Handley making the return in the return favor there. Opp will go to Bibb County. Let's go down the line here. Madison Academy will go to Hoax Bluff. W.S. Neal will travel to St. James. That's Aubrey Blackwell there down at St. James. And Mobile Christian will travel to Tallahassee. The number one team in 4A will host Bullitt County. Going to be a tough out there. Somebody's going to have to play outstanding football to knock Jackson out. All right, we'll take the break. Top of the hour coming up right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Foshie's Watts on Dable Road in Alexander City is always making improvements, making it bigger, like making their pellet ice a 10-pound bag for $2. How about their biscuits? Have you tried their biscuits with regular cheese or hoop cheese with sausage and ham and salmon? Oh, and throw an egg on there and you got a happy person. And don't forget about they have propane and wood. That's Foshie's Watts, Dable Road, Alex City.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
GMC SUVs, GMC SUVs. On sale now at Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. The GMC Terrain, the compact SUV with seating for 5. And now discounted up to $6,500 off. The full-size GMC Yukons, discounted up to $9,000 off. Choose from almost 200 new GMCs. Get your best price every day on the lot or online at glennsmith.com.
Get ready to smile.
Heading into hour number 2 here on the Saturday Sports Countdown, and we'll take your phone calls, 256-234-6221. We'll take your comments on Facebook and YouTube. Again, we appreciate everybody tuning us in. Real quick, we'll finish up first-round playoff matchups. In 3A, Dayville will go to Montgomery Academy. So a tough draw there, but they're just glad to be in the playoffs, winning those 3 games, finished 3-7 on the season. Thorsby will draw the short straw in 3A. They'll travel to T.R. Miller. Not going to end well for them. Beulah will go to Houston Academy. Let's see who else we got here that we want to highlight. Glenwood finished the season 9-0 with their first trip in. Alabama Christian will travel to them. Alabama Christian is 6-4. We'll go down to 2A now. Football, Lynette will go to Cottonwood. Cottonwood is loaded. Cottonwood 10-0. I know you know a little bit about Cottonwood.
Every week I could give, and a lot of it's on the defensive side of the football, Brett. So Cottonwood's going to be a tough out for anybody in 2A.
Houston County will travel to Reeltown. Reeltown 9-1, as we just mentioned. Horseshoe Bend traveling to Providence Christian. Providence Christian 8-2 on the season. Let's see who else we want to highlight. St. Luke's will travel to Highland Home. Highland Home finishes the season 10-0, and they're number 2 there in Class 2A. In 1A, finally, finishing up, Sweetwater will host Choctaw County. Maplesville 8-2 will host Florala at 7-3. Elba 8-2 will host Verbena 8-2. 2 8-2 teams meeting there. Wadley will host, Valley Head. Valley Head coming in at 6-4, and Raglan will go to Winterboro. Winterboro ends up 7-2 on the season, and Spring Garden with an undefeated record will host Victory Christian, and that's some highlights of games, round 1 matchups throughout the state of Alabama. That starts next Friday. So that wraps up the high school segment. Rolled over into college for just a little bit, but we got a ton of college to talk about as we head in here to hour number 2. Alabama off this week. Auburn will take on Vanderbilt here in a couple of hours at Auburn, trying to build off a win against Kentucky. We can start there, Randy. It was a good win on the road for Auburn, that one that was much needed by Auburn, but didn't get started off well in Lexington.
Well, I thought we were well on our way to play the way we have a majority of the year, down 10-0, throwing the football all over the park. Move into the second quarter, and Hugh Freeze and the staff said, I don't care what we see in the box. I don't care what it shows. Turn around, hand the football to Jarquez Hunter, and let him make plays. Now, let me say this, because Jason Caldwell made good mention of it yesterday. Game before at Missouri, Auburn tried the same. Turned around and handed it to Jarquez 19 times, and he only averaged, 2.5 yards a carry?
54 yards.
Yeah, so it didn't work the week before. And so us Auburn fans that want to say, Coach Freeze, would you please just turn – I don't think that was the difference. Yes, Jarquez is that type of player. You get him to the second level, he's got speed, he can make the first defender miss. But our offensive line must play better football, and it's a broken record for Auburn. But they did last weekend, and you're seeing players, and I'll spotlight one because he's from our local market, and Braden Joyner. Auburn High School has always, all the coaches that we've talked to over the years, you have certain kids that they just like more than most. And Braden Joyner, when he was there at Auburn High School, always with a smile on his face, Brett. When we see him at media days, he had a certain way that he carried himself to make us feel like he loves football and puts a lot of the effort forward. Those people like that you cheer for. Hometown kid, and we need to keep as many of those Auburn kids at home as we can, because that line of players going to Auburn University is not going to stop over in Auburn and Opelika and Phoenix City. That neck of the woods, Brett, we must shore up, and Hugh Freeze is doing a lot better job. But I just want to spotlight him a little bit because he did really play well this past Saturday, and we need the offensive line to play that way moving forward.
You got to have a good offensive line if you want to win against anybody in major college football. And when you're not good up front, those deficiencies show tremendously. You can't run the football, and you don't have enough time to throw the football with your quarterback and get down the field. So I am proud that the offensive line did step up. Now, you got Vanderbilt coming in. You got a La Monroe team that you'll have to play that's 5-2. You got a very good Texas A&M team. You got Alabama. Does this team get better from this point on? Again, Vanderbilt comes in. Jason Caldwell felt like he said they think they've gotten everything they can out of this team. But this is still a mindset of Diego Pavia coming in that he thinks he's the best guy on the field against whoever he's playing. I mean, they just lost to Texas 27-24. So big wins for Vanderbilt already on the season over Alabama and Virginia Tech, and some near misses. Should have probably won that Missouri game on the road, but didn't do it. But nevertheless, they've been in all these football games, had a chance to be sitting there basically undefeated if some things go their way. We had our problems with Diego Pavia last year when he was at New Mexico State. This will be the third time Hugh Freeze has faced him as a coach. He's 0-2 against him. I hope he's not 0-3 after this morning.
Well, here's the thing about Pavia. He's not putting up PlayStation numbers. He's passed for 1,534 yards on the season, 13 touchdowns to 3 INTs, has rushed the football 134 times for 537 yards and 4 touchdowns. Where I'm going with this is it's not that it's crazy numbers. This isn't Jaden Daniels type numbers, but it's the style of offense that this Vanderbilt team plays and some of the rule changes that we've seen in college football with the running out of the bounds and the clock doesn't stop.
Right.
With those changes, Brett, comes if you're a 3rd and 4 and your quarterback's rushing for 537 yards, means a lot of those key times he's keeping the football in his hands and he's picking up 5 yards. Well, the problem with offensive football when you're not touching it often is you start rushing. You start getting a little tense, and you feel like you got to make things happen every time you touch it. And when the panic sets in, you never know what's going to happen. And I felt like that's what happened for Alabama against Vandy. And he made some plays at the end that he's got the moxie to make. That is the storyline coming in. I mean, I hate to say that the storyline coming in is how good is Vandy. I mean, but
everybody's saying
but
that.
We've reached that point that a transfer quarterback like Diego Pavia in college football can make that big of a difference.
He has for their team. This is the same Vanderbilt team as last year. The only difference, they got a guy that's a playmaker at quarterback, and that's how quickly you can change your team with just getting one guy in the right position. But you're right. Their play dictates you to speed your game up and make you feel like you got to be perfect on every offensive possession. If not, you feel like you're wasting opportunities. So, all right, some big storylines hitting college football. We'll come back. We'll talk about those when we come back.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SEC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands.
From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Got several comments coming in. Jim said offensive line's getting better as the left side is starting to strengthen, talking about Auburn right there. John said Pavia for Heisman. Hey, you know what? If he had Vanderbilt sitting there maybe with only one loss, you probably would legitimately hear that. John also said the OC in the entire offensive staff, head coach Jerry Keels came over with Pavia from Vanderbilt, or to Vanderbilt from New Mexico State. So, yeah, I mean, they kind of came as a package deal, and it worked out for Vanderbilt and Coach Lee. They've done a great job, and, you know, to not get really any offers in the portal, Pavia, is kind of remarkable. I think he had to walk on at Vanderbilt with the way their situation is, but I know they took care of him in whatever way they need to take care of him. But, man, he's been a storyline in college football.
He's just a confident kid, you know, and when that guy is your quarterback and he's your leader and he's out there and he doesn't feel like anybody he's matching up with is any better than him, you can build a tremendous program around that. And tip your hat to Vandy. I think it's a wonderful community. In Nashville, you would think you could kind of recruit to there.
Man, no kidding.
And you can in other sports, but it's always been an uphill battle. But you got to find a difference maker. I keep going back to Pat Dye's comments on that video that keeps getting shared on Twitter talking about Auburn. And I know this is back in the day, but I think it also kind of points to Vandy with this. You get a whole bunch of guys that fit the culture and the model of the kid that you want, and then you must get, though. It doesn't mean you don't have to go get a Bo Jackson or a Lawyer Tillman or someone like that to be a difference maker. And Vandy is that. Vandy's probably, in the day of NIL, got to spend as much money as it takes on a quarterback and then try to make all the other pieces decent. And
you got to start there.
You do. You
got to start with the quarterback position. All right, a little controversy in college football, maybe coming down the line. Story broke this week about the helmet comms, the communication from coach to player. This is the first year that this has been used in college football, and this starts out of the Big 12. And I'll just kind of read a couple things. It really started with Texas Tech's athletic director, Coach or Kirby Hocutt, said that he raised an issue during a call with Big 12 athletic directors when he learned that their helmet comms were unencrypted, which means it was an accessible frequency for anybody out there that had a everyday scanner, a police scanner that you can buy for $30, $40. And the knowledge of being able to know how to go in there and find those frequencies. The Big 12 has now instructed its 10 schools playing games this coming weekend to send their helmet communication devices back to GSC, who is the provider of the helmet comm, the provider for all 68 Power 4 teams, for a software update that would provide encryption. So up until this point, there's concern that there may have been some compromise in some of these football games and teams. Of course, you're not going to say that you knew it. You're not going to say that you tapped into somebody's helmet comms, but there is no question if these were on unencrypted frequencies, Randy, that some teams took advantage of this year in all these conferences. I mean, you got smart guys you alluded to in the first hour on these teams that do nothing but technology. And I can promise you somebody stumbled across this in a game, and they just play the game with the way the game's played, and they go, hey, look, Coach, I hate to tell you, but I can hear every play that they're calling in the helmet of the quarterback. Don't think that hadn't happened.
Oh, I promise you it's happened. And once it does happen the first time, the communication on the Connor Stallions of the world out there, I mean, those guys that are sign stealers, I mean, you can get upset and say what he did was wrong, and I hate Michigan because of it. I'm an Ohio State fan, and they ought to lose their national championship.
Who else has been out there doing it?
Everybody, for all time. And if you get caught, you get in trouble. Yes, and you deserve to get in trouble. But it doesn't mean you're not going to keep trying to get the edge. And if it's as easy as not even having to steal signs now, I've got a couple of people in my life, and I'm going to name their names because they won't mind it. But just doing what I do, I have no interest in that kind of stuff, and you know it. But if I gave Justin Clayton and Stacey Mills about a half hour, and told them, look, I think that you can, and I just let them just pick whatever equipment they wanted to pick, they'd have it bugged here in about a half hour.
Yeah.
And if you don't think that these college football programs that are worth tens of millions of dollars on what's going to go on during that season's not figuring that out, you're crazy. And unfortunately, as an Auburn fan, I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if it hasn't happened to Auburn some this year. I look back at a few of those games and go, they sure did seem like they feel like they knew exactly what we were going to do right there. I'm not saying it's happened. I don't know. I don't have any inside knowledge.
Well, it's
that
obvious
it's
it's been jeopardized.
Oh, yes.
The communications have been jeopardized.
If it was that easy to access, they're accessing it.
Well, if Joe Blow ham radio operator happens to be sitting at the house and he tunes in and goes, did that guy just say 27 veers? I mean, is there a coach in the area calling a play? I mean, seriously, I know we make light of it, but here's a quote from Kirby Hocutt, the athletic director at Texas Tech. He said, we've got to have a game whose integrity is not questionable in any way on Saturday afternoon. We owe it to the 120 young men on our football team to ensure that happens. That's it. It's a game of fair competition, and the same set of rules are enforced for everybody. Everybody's having this coach comp thing. You heard Freeze at the beginning of the year. He's not a big fan of it. He can't figure out how to put the belt on. And it's cumbersome around. It's just extra stuff. But you do it to try to make the game a little bit more efficient and try to get the comms in. And it cuts off at is it 10 or 12?
15 seconds left on the play clock.
Here's the deal with that. But by the end, it don't matter. I mean, if you've already got the information, you already know what the other team's doing. So Jim said, speak on the new fines for players, coaches, faking injuries to gain advantage of the game. That's another thing. That's part of what we're talking about here. This is the first story that broke. Now the SEC said if they analyze the tape and they see that there's teams out there taking advantage of this rule and faking injuries, they're going to start finding colleges. Now,
no, they're finding the head coach.
Finding the head coach.
Yeah.
Well, finding the college, find the head coach. But here's the deal. You run down a sticky wicket now. Now, what if a guy really is cramped up and he falls down? And, I mean, this is what the talk last week was about. How do you police this? Now, it is obvious that it's being taken advantage of. When there's a guy standing there and he's run downfield and he looks over and he falls down, yeah. But there will be times it looks like maybe a guy's faking. Maybe he does cramp up and have to fall down, and it may look like he's faking. So you go down a slippery slope here, but you've got to do something about this because it's affecting the way the football game's
Well,
played.
it's not the reason they're setting this up. The reason they're setting this up, Brett, is the clear use of that gray area in the rule that the Ole Misses of the world have been doing. And we've all done it at times, so Auburn included. But you can tell when you go to the film and you see somebody standing there and jumping around, and all of a sudden he kind of fake flops to the ground.
Yeah, he just kind of jerks a little bit and falls down. He had something hit him. Hey, John wanted to know the source of this story. It is from Max Olson on ESPN.com. The story was released a couple of days ago on October the 30th. It'll probably be talked about on game day this morning, I'm sure, along with this thing that Jim's talking about with the injuries. There's a lot of this kind of stuff. People take things right up into the line and see if they can get away with it. Again, nobody's going to say, hey, I hear what y'all are saying across the way. They're going to say, I'm going to ride this out as long as I can ride it out when somebody discovers it. You know, I believe it was Mike Leach when he was coaching with either Oklahoma or Texas, and forgive me. But there was a story on game day where they were walking out of the tunnel and they found the play card laying on the ground. And Mike Leach found it. And he thought he's like, this is their offensive play sheet. And he said, now, I was worried that it was a plant. Like, here's a fake one. Here, we're going to throw this down, see if but it was it. It was the real play sheet. So don't think anytime somebody can gain an advantage, they don't try to do it. And with this Coach Com deal, I can promise you multiples have taken advantage of this. Now, I don't know what kind of impact it's had on the game, but you and I just had some.
Not Coach Com.
I'm just saying Coach Com's.
Yeah.
Coach Com's is the coach to player com is what I'm saying. Not the company com.
Yeah.
The company that's doing this is G2C or whatever.
Okay.
They had to ship everything. They're the official provider for
They've got the contract.
They've got the contract. So all of these teams had to ship their stuff back this week. And they had to get it all back to the teams because they had to provide the software update. G2C is the official provider. Let me make sure I get that correct. No, I'm not talking about Coach Com that's been around forever that provide headsets for high schools and colleges and all that. That's between from booth down to sideline. This is the new technology. It's GSC. And that's the green sticker on the back, and it says GSC on the back. So they had to send back, the Big 12 has instructed its 10 schools to ship all of their devices back to GSC, the provider for all 68 Power 4 teams this year, for a software update that would provide encryption now instead of unencrypted signals coming out. So there you go. Boy, you don't think they've been scrambling over there this week at that? You and I have had things where technology kind of goes awry and we got to make an adjustment. When they had all 10 Big 12 teams send all their stuff back and say, hey, I need you to fix all this.
It's a problem. But it's also an opportunity for whoever their competitor is. If you can't go in there and sell that look, they're not up to date with technology.
To me, that is such a major oversight for a company that
I would know that. I would know that would be the most important thing.
Integrity in the communication.
Yes, that would be
that you're
number
not going
one.
across an airwave that might tap into the PA. I mean, that the PA announcer hits a button up there and all of a sudden the guy down on the sideline's talking through the PA because it ran interference. But, I mean, I know that's a little bit of a stretch, but seriously, it's a unsecure frequency that these comms have been going across. So, man, crazy story right there. We'll keep following that. We'll take a break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Alex City and west side of the lake. It's time to celebrate because the all-new Lake Martin Pizza is open with the area's best pizza, and it's just down Highway 63 South in our town. Lake Martin Pizza of Highway 63 has a huge outdoor seating area with enclosed heated comfort, a full bar with cold beer, wine, and full spirit selection with family ownership and fun for the whole family. Dine in or pick up. It's just a short drive to our town and is hands down the area's best pizza. Like us on Facebook to see upcoming live entertainment and watch sports on our 360 wraparound TVs. Rejoice! Lake Martin Pizza on Highway 63 is ready for you.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Dadeville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All in an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
About 30 minutes left here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. And, hey, Russ, we got our speaker up. There you go, buddy. We appreciate it. Talking about some of these controversial things that hit this week with college football, one being the communications between the coach and the player on the field with the maybe the signal being jeopardized, unencrypted signal going out for other people to hear, and then faking these injuries. And we didn't talk a lot in detail about that. I want to talk about that. Lane Kiffin specifically, his face was on the article that came out. He's really taking advantage of this. And, you know, the SEC received so much pressure from other teams. They said, somebody's got to do something about this to stop. And it is affecting the way the game is being played.
Sure it is. And, you know, I really like that the fine is going to the coach. I mean, these coaches make plenty of money, and I'm not knocking them. I mean, more power to them. Make all the money you can. But I do like that the fine's going there because the decision starts at the top. If they're allowing that to happen, the school's not making that decision. The head coach is making that decision for them to play the football game that way. They should be the one to pay the fine on that to come down, and it'll clean it up, Brett. It will clean it up. Mark my word, that quick little change right there, and I don't know anybody that's not glad that it's put in place.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, let's go to the phone lines, the Eric McKinley Mortgage Pro Hotline. Caller, go ahead.
Hey, it's Luke, guys.
Hey, Luke, what's up, man? How are you this morning?
Oh, just, enjoying an off week.
An off week, and but really not in life off week. You don't have many off weeks.
No, I'm getting to wear a tuxedo 2 nights in a row, and those are things I never thought I'd be doing.
Where did you go wrong in life, right?
That's exactly right. The problem with having a tuxedo and going to tuxedo events is great. It's nice, and it can be fun. But the problem is nobody ever thinks to check about, hey, did I outgrow my tuxedo? Because you only wear the dang thing once or twice a year. And so when I have to, jump in from the second floor to fit into it, I know that's a problem.
Well, yeah, we tend to slow down our activities, Luke, as we get older. And guess what? The clothes don't lie. They stay the same in the closet. We may expand or contract, but the clothes stay the same. Well, hey, look, Alabama is off. We were just talking just now about a couple of things that have hit college football, and the SEC coming out talking about fining the head coach on some of these faux pas injuries, so to say. Just your thoughts on this? We knew this was possibly coming down the line.
Well, I guess there's two schools of thought on it. And I know that a lot of people will disagree with this, but I look at it when they say, well, that isn't what football's supposed to be. I agree. I agree. Feigning injuries, and we should penalize it. We really should. But I would also argue that football wasn't meant to be going 10,000 miles an hour every single play either. I mean, I doubt it's sort of like, when you talk about the framers of the Constitution didn't intend for this to happen or that to happen. Of course they couldn't see that far in the future. Well, the framers of football didn't ever expect probably some teams would be like, hey, every time there's a play, we want to run back up to the line immediately. We're not going to huddle, and we're just going to throw the ball as quick as possible. And so what happens is the defenses try to play the same kind of, hey, that's, I know there's two different types of being ethical, and one of them's a little bit worse than the other, I understand, but that's what happens when you try to get an advantage on somebody. The other side is going to figure out, okay, what can I do to get an advantage on them? And so to take an advantage, they're going to go take it one step further. And I think the defenses have come up with this, hey, we're going to go down there and just act like we got a hamstring because nobody can prove it. And that's the catch. That's the rub. I mean, this seems like a great thing that Greg Sankey has done, and I'm with him. I am with him. I don't like these fake penalties either. I mean, these fake injuries either. But I don't know how you enforce it. I don't know how you prove it. I mean, I guess you can say if you look over there and one of the coaches is telling you to go down, but, coaches also do that if a player is, shoot, guys, back and when Randy was playing high school, I'd be willing to bet there were several times that a coach may be looking at a player like, are you okay? And the player would give him the thumbs up because nobody used to ever want to go out of the game, right? It was a sign of weakness. Well, now they're trying to flip that on its head and say, look, if you are hurt, you need to let us know. It's a sign of strength that you're courageous enough to tell us I'm hurt, and if I keep doing this, I won't get hurt worse. Well, it used to be the other way, that if you were hurt, you were taught to play through it, right? That, hey, you got your bell rung instead of a concussion, all those things. So it's a very sticky wicket. Again, I would love to see something happen. I would love it if all conferences and coaches and commissioners got together and said, hey, guys, we understand. I mean, it's sort of like recruiting. Back in the day when, say, for instance, everybody's doing their thing in recruiting, right? And then, Ole Miss comes along and they're driving 152 miles an hour and everybody else is going 90. Well, everybody's breaking the law. But one of them was breaking it a little worse, so everybody's sort of like, hey, what are we doing here? I don't know what you do about it, honest to God. I don't know how you can actually have a fine because it's not tangible. Like when people rush the field, you see the people rush the field and tear up the goalpost and endanger players and all that. And you're like, okay, I can fine that $100,000 or $250,000, whatever it is. But what if somebody really is hurt? I mean, I guess how do you? And I mean, I'm speaking out loud here. I guess if somebody goes down and they claim it's a cramp, let's say, or if they claim it's a hamstring, that's one thing, because if they go back in the game and they're fine, you probably know they were lying. But if they claim it was a cramp, I don't know how you prove it. Do you guys? I mean, I'm asking the question. Randy, you played more than I did, so you tell me.
Well, Randy, I'm going to let you respond here. But I just told him that, Luke. I said the sticky wicket, the slippery slope is when somebody really does go down with a cramp, but it maybe looks like it might be fake, but he really may be needing to have his legs stretched out. Now you find the coach for that. I mean, this has been allowed to go on to the point and take advantage of this loophole in the rule. I don't know how you figured it out.
I don't either. I mean, the problem, and I have no earthly idea. Y'all are saying it exactly right. The problem's 20-plus times I think Ole Miss took advantage of this a couple of weeks ago. Am I wrong? I don't have the exact totals. It's just getting pushed to the limit. So, and some of them are blatant. It doesn't mean you can't come back and say I had a cramp, and I don't know how you fight that, Luke, because, I mean, you're not feeling what the kid's feeling out there, but they got to try something.
And Randy,
yeah.
Here's the other thing. Some of the very people who complained about it, like Lane Kiffin, like Gus Malzahn back in the day, do you remember when Gus – I mean, one of the first times I really considered it super egregious was when Auburn was playing Arkansas, and Gus Malzahn told somebody to do it. After all this time of complaining about it, he told somebody to do it. And I get it where he's coming from on one aspect, because he's like, look, if everybody else is going to do it, I'm going to do it too. So, I mean, I get that. But I'm just saying it is really tough to figure out. You know what it also reminds me of? You know how a lot of folks love to punish the parents of a kid who doesn't show up to school, right? And a lot of times it is a lazy parent. It is a parent who doesn't care. It is a bad parent overall who just doesn't make sure their kid gets to school. But what about those parents who, hey, they take their kid to school, they watch him walk in the door, and then as soon as they leave to go do their own job, the kid walks right back out. You know, should the parent be punished for that? I don't know that they should be. And that's what it seems like to me. Like, in theory, this is a great idea. But the best way to stop this isn't a fine, if you ask me, even though you know how pro-fine I am when it comes to stopping stuff in college sports, because I think ultimately everybody talks for their checkbook. But I think the best way to stop this is say, okay, if your player goes out, we do want to make sure he's healthy, okay? So he's out the rest of that drive, however long that drive is. If that drive is 9 more plays, he's out for 9 plays. If that drive is 1 more play, if the other team gets a fumble, you know, if your team gets a fumble right after that, well, he can go back in on the next drive, whatever it is, because that gives him plenty of time to make sure he's okay. Now, I guess the counter argument to that is then there will be some players who will try to push through and maybe risk injuring themselves a little more. But, you know, there's got to be some give and take here. There is no perfect way to stop.
But Luke, that's been going on in high school and college football for years. There have been players pushing through. I witnessed a kid last night for us that pushed through that has a shoulder injury. He's been battling it, and he's tough, and he wants to be out there. I love what you just said. You know, if you're hurt, then sit out for a drive. And, you know, you start doing that and you start getting a key guy off the field, then it makes you rethink all this falling down and looking at the sidelines. But what it has done is made a mockery of the game, and it's ruined the pace of the game for some of these teams that rely on running to the line of scrimmage, and it's their counter of trying to do that, and they don't have a counter to it, so they just revert to faking an injury. So it's bad, and I'm glad the SEC is at least stepping up and at least making some of these coaches think twice about what they do.
Well, I think what we all happy are is that they acknowledge it. Instead of saying like what the NCAA said for years, you know, about different things, just throwing their hands up and saying, well, what do you want us to do? I mean, I think Greg Sankey is at least taking a leadership role here and saying, okay, we got to do something, and we're going to start with this. Now, this may not be the right fix, but we're starting here. And that's the other catch, you know, about all this, and that's more systemic in society in general, that people recognize a problem, and then somebody will tell you, hey, but what about that one case where this one person isn't that, but you think he is? And they're like, we can't punish them because we may punish one person, you know, even though it's the better for the good of the sport, we don't want to punish that one person or that one team unjustifiably. And it feels weird saying this, but I'm willing to sacrifice not necessarily punishing a certain player or a certain team on occasion for the betterment of the sport eventually. I mean, and again, it's not really punishing anybody. You're saying, hey, if somebody's hurt, let's get them out of there for a drive. And we're so concerned about concussions, and we should be, and we're so concerned about knees and you know, the futures and hips and futures, you know, what you're going to be like when you're older, and how you're going to be able to walk and all these other things. Let's just get them out of there for a drive if they're hurt, even if it's a cramp. Randy, you played football a lot. You've had a cramp. If you get a cramp, it feels like the end of the world. As I told y'all the other day, I have the gout, and I do call it the. My friend of mine said, quit calling it the gout. It's just gout. I said, no, when I have it, it's the gout. I promise you, it's like the Ohio State University when I have it, because it hurt. And I said it was like as painful as anything I've ever had. Now, it's not the worst illness in the world, but it's really painful, just like a cramp. And so when you go out, maybe you should go out for a drive, get better, drink some pickle juice, and then go back out there when it's your turn.
Luke, I know we got to let you go because we got to get to break, but unfortunately, this will go down as one of your older segments in the show history. You're trying to jump off a second-story building into your tuxedo. You've blown out an Achilles, and now you got gout. Boy, this we're all going downhill fast here on this show.
And, hey, look, I'm just happy we didn't get any more of my ailments.
Hey, like SEC office called and said you were faking an injury, and then they showed up and said, no, he's really hurt. So.
No, they said, let's keep this man out for a while. They said, we're going to fine y'all if y'all don't keep him in the Deadfield Hospital. But, you know, again, I know y'all got to go, but it is really quite comical the way this thing has gone down, and it is. You know, it used to be coaches. Here's the problem: once one coach does it, then there's certainly a faction of coaches and fans, everybody going, that is completely unethical. But then, you know, it sort of spreads just a little bit. It's just like recruiting in a way, like where if one coach is like, hey, I'll give you a $100 handshake, and a lot of coaches are like, I can't do that. Then the next coach goes, well, look, he's already doing it, so I'll give you $110. And the next thing you know, everybody's giving out $5,000 every time somebody makes a visit. I mean, it's just the way these things go down. But that's why you got to nip it in the bud.
No doubt, Luke. We appreciate it, brother. Enjoy your weekend off, right?
Well, I don't have a week. I'm going to coach a soccer game, and then I'm going to something else I don't want to do. So it's going to be all.
I'm sorry. We'll talk to you next week, brother. See you, man. Luke Robinson in the land of misery, wherever he is. So we'll take a break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Thunderbolt
Hey,
Night
bro.
at Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now, let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now, they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's, Highway 49 South in Dadeville. 256-825-4827.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekend. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SEC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Announcing Camping World's Inflation Buster camping program. You can now get into a new RV starting at just $98 a month. We won't let the economy steal your camping season. Take advantage of this very limited time offer and lock in your low monthly payment today.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need. With top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill. And our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Been a great show here on this Saturday. I appreciate Luke calling in, giving his take. He had to have a little bit of relief from what he's going to endure this weekend. Got some comments I want to end up with here. John said, keep pushing the envelope, and the disgruntled fans that have turned off the NFL will do likewise with college football, as many have already done. Politics, government, and sports all using technology to cheat. Surefire way to kill the goose that laid the golden egg. People get frustrated with that kind of stuff, man, and you start losing integrity. You know, the NFL right now, going through the last couple of years, this conspiracy theory about it all being plotted and planned and scripted and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure it's to that level, but when you have people talking about it and creating doubt, it causes problems. Glenn said not a penalty for running a play every 10 seconds. Yeah, I mean, John said they're going to have to do whatever they can to get it fixed. And so, I mean, some comments there around all that stuff we talked about this morning. I mean.
Well, the two that Luke brought up were two coaches that took more advantage of rushing to the line of scrimmage and trying to get plays off and keeping the defense off balance. And it is funny that the two of them, and Gus Malzahn and Lane Kiffin, are the two that probably used it as much, if not more, than anybody else, because they knew how big of a deal it was for them to do it. So I think what Ole Miss has done this year is put the SEC in a position where they've got to at least try something, and the first try may not be the right answer to it.
But they're going to work toward it.
But they're going to keep working towards getting it to where people aren't just falling out on the field and looking over the sideline. It's clearly a communication coming in from them to get down on the field and let's slow this thing down a little bit.
Jim helped me out with that story. He said Mike Leach intentionally left his plays.
He did.
For Texas. That's what the story
was.
It was
a scripted opening drive.
That's right.
And he called the direct opposite. I've seen him talk about it. It was great.
The grad student for Texas picked it up. That's funny. All right, let's get down to the games today. You got something?
Well, I was just going to jump in on Auburn. You know, we haven't had a really good chance to talk as much about it, but you and I do it all week. So we kind of get caught up sitting in the same spots and forget that we haven't hit on that near enough this morning. But Auburn with a kick against Vandy this morning. Pavia, of course, is the question mark on that side, and we've talked a lot about Vandy already in a couple of segments ago. But let's talk about Auburn, Brett.
Okay.
Ways to win this football game. In your opinion, as you're watching Auburn, and it was a good win this past weekend, what do you think we're doing well? And I'll start on the defensive side of the ball. Who are some that are standing out to you?
Mausi is standing out to me, the transfer linebacker. I think he's doing an outstanding job. I'm impressed with our defensive line and Keldrick Falk. It's hard to look past him when you're looking at who's making plays. And Jay Crawford in the secondary. That's three guys at every level. Jay Crawford, and by some stretches, may be the best cornerback in college football right now. And that's as a freshman, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's how well he's playing. So his future is extremely bright. They needed him to step up and be a guy in the secondary. On the offensive side, you know, kudos to the offensive line. If they can play the way they did against Kentucky with 8 men stacked in the box and still run the football that well, Auburn will have a chance to win the rest of the football games. And would love to see a good ending to this season and have some momentum. Right now, they're on the outside looking in and trying to get to a bowl game because they're going to have to beat a team they're not supposed to beat, but they put themselves in this position. So that's just kind of my quick analysis of some of the guys.
You know, I think the biggest question mark going in again today, and you hate to say it and sound like a broken record, but is how well our quarterback plays. If he can hit a couple of plays down the field, I think we'll run the football. I mean, Jarquez did against this same team last year on the road at Vandy. You were there. That's how we won the ball game last year after a tough start. But we need to we need to take advantage of some of these skill guys that we have on the perimeter. It's not playing out that way right now. You look at the stat totals for KLS. That slowed the last few weeks. He's under 600 yards receiving, whereas we thought he had a really good chance.
Is he the leading receiver in the conference?
To reach that 1,000-yard mark. Maybe. If he is, it's a big difference in the play this year because he's only sitting at 579 yards in receptions, and that's nowhere near what we've seen in the past. Does have 7 touchdowns, but Malcolm Simmons, second there at the receiving corps, 25 catches, 310 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And I don't think any of us thought that Cam Coleman, you'd look down at this part of the season, he'd only have 14 catches. I mean, that's a very questionable number there.
I don't know what's going on there. That's been an odd deal.
It is.
He's had some drops. Now, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Arkansas game against Oklahoma, he started off that first drive, had one go through his hands. I bet he's had 5 drops on the season, maybe a little bit more. So
but less than 2 catches per game on average?
Right.
Did anyone see that?
I'd like to know what his targets are per game. That really will tell the tale. He's got 14 catches. Okay, look, if he dropped 5 or 6 passes, I mean, he'd be over 20 catches. I mean,
but everybody drops balls.
Everybody does.
I mean, Ryan Williams, I can assure you, has dropped balls.
But I'd just like to know what his targets are. I mean, I don't know that he's getting targeted more than maybe 3 or 4 times a game.
And that's not enough.
Not near enough, man. I don't understand in high school and college when you got guys, get them the football, give them a chance.
And that's not even bringing up Rivaldo Fairweather.
No, he's just gone. I mean, it's like he's not even out there. He's 19 catches for 200 yards. I mean, I know we're up against the end of the show, but I said it, 28-24. I think Auburn's going to win the game.
I said we're going to lose. I can't see us putting enough offense up to offset what Pavia did, and I saw that with my own 2 eyes last year. So
I hope it's different.
I hope I'm wrong, and I hope you're right.
We'll be going live after the game. Reminder of that, going live right after the game, instant reaction. So hopefully we'll be going live after an Auburn win. For Andy, I'm Brett saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. Have a great Saturday, everybody.
Landowners, farmers, and landscapers, it's time to fall back this fall at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor on Highway 280 in Alex City. Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor has the year's best terms on almost all our Mahindra tractors. Now, get up to 84 months of 0% financing on Mahindra 1600 to 4500 series tractors. And package up with all your implement needs. Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor also has 0% financing or up to $1,000 rebates on most 24 Spartan zero-turn mowers. The rates can't fall anymore at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Ivy Creek Healthcare is excited to showcase their newest clinic, Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin, located conveniently near the main entrance to Stillwater's on Highway 49 South in Dadeville. Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin is an urgent care with walk-ins welcome. Whether you need lab work, x-rays, or immediate care, find comfort here at Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin. Ivy Creek, here when you need us most. 256-827-5379.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen-printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
As the heat of summer fades and cooler temperatures come calling, we look forward to that feeling of fall. It's the perfect time to be outdoors with family and friends and a great time to be alive. Make sure your heart is ready for the season with an appointment at the UAB Heart and Vascular Clinic at Russell Medical. I'm Dr. Kevin Sutherland, and our entire clinic is dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. We're right here in your own community and backed by the knowledge and expertise of UAB Medicine. Make an appointment today by calling 256-234-2644 or visit uabmedicine.org/heartrussell.